Dave Dombrowski. Quick ground rules before we get this thing started. If you are not already, can you please mute yourself unless asking a question to either Dave or Kyle?
Recording in progress.
We will send out a recording following the completion of this call, but just again, please keep yourself on mute unless asking a question. And with that, who would like to start us off today? We'll go to Todd Zalecki.
Hey, Kyle. Welcome
Hey,
back.
Todd.
You never
Thank
left, I guess, but welcome back. I guess just give us your reaction on why, your emotions, I guess, on getting to the finish line here. You go into every free agency with uncertainty, even if you wanted to come back, but you don't know. So what are your emotions right now?
Yeah, first off, I think going through the whole process and I appreciate the Phillies to where, obviously when you reach free agency, you want to have that opportunity to go out and listen to and make sure that all your bases are covered and making sure that you want to hear all different types of information, right? And making sure that you're making a really great informed decision for your family and yourself. Um, I appreciate the whole process, and I don't take it lightly that when you are in a position like this that you want to make sure that you're going to be thorough and be making sure that, like I said, that there's everything's covered. And I feel like at the end of the day, there were a lot of things that stuck with us through our last 4 years in Philadelphia, and knowing that there were so many great things in the future, the come in Philadelphia that um, when you're able to kind of just get to that end point there, you've taken in every sort of information and you're able to process it and you're able to look at it, and knowing that John and Lee, Dave, the whole front office, the whole organization, and the players, right, that they wanted to put their best foot forward with us, and know that they're going to get everything in return, that they're investing in me. That's just how I operate. I want to make sure when I'm stepping back into the clubhouse, I'm stepping back into spring training, and I'm stepping uh, wherever that has a Phillies P. And whenever you're on the road, that you're representing that organization to the best of your ability. And that's what I plan on doing. And I plan on continuing to uh, be myself and to challenge myself on a year in and year out basis and on a daily basis to uh, continue to evolve and to continuing to keep being the best player that I can be, and also to try to make everyone around myself the best version they can be. And I want them to keep me accountable and to keep me the best version I can be as well.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Matt Gelb of The Athletic. Matt.
Kyle, congrats on the Hoosiers winning the Big Ten.
Thank you. That was fun.
Uh, you're obviously getting pitches from other teams that you're less familiar with, but what did you have to hear things from the Phillies about, what does the plan look like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line for the franchise? Is that something that you were uh, needed to hear, had to hear? Did you hear anything at all? I mean, was there any kind of pitch from the Phillies other than just here's the years and the money that we like for you?
So right after the season was over with, um, I was able to sit down with Dave, and we had a really good conversation. And uh, then right before we went home, uh, Mr. Middleton was able to come over to our house, and we were able to spend a really good amount of time just sitting down and talking about, uh, you know, the Phillies and talking about uh, his family and talking about what's the future looking like for uh, us here, and that those were conversations that I just never forgot. Right, like you go through the off season, you start having different conversations with different teams, and just because those conversations were more fresh uh, doesn't mean that anything was forgotten, right? Like those were, I know that was an important time and an important conversations that Dave and Mr. Middleton that we had, and that was all things that, trust me, I took notes and I was able to, once like I said, once I had kind of everything all said and done, the really sit down and make the decision that you can look at everything and knowing that John is committed to winning and that Dave wants our organization to continue to keep pushing for a world championship, and we want to continue to win the East. That what else for a player can you ask for to win? We have such a great fan base. On a Wednesday getaway day that there could be 40 some thousand there. Um, those are things that I don't take lightly, and things that I wish that there are other people, other players in the league, whatever it is, I wish that they could experience that, because those are things that are driving factors on a daily basis that you just, it's not a given. Everything's earned in our game, and you earn a fan base's respect. You earn um, you know people's respect in the game, and when you get that and people respect that, it's awesome. It's just something that you look forward to. So yes, just having those conversations in the back of my mind and in front of me, knowing where we were going, it was you know a decision that I'm not going to regret by any means, and I think it's going to be a great investment for both sides.
Right, next we'll go to Scott Lauber of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Scott?
Hey, Kyle, congratulations on coming back. I wanted to ask you, the numbers certainly speak for themselves, but if you think back to the hitter that you were 4 years ago when you signed here and the hitter that you are now, why do you think that you've been able to make some of the gains that you've made over the 4 years, and how much did that have to do with, betting on yourself that you could continue to get better over the next five?
Yeah, I think being able to, you know, I've kind of had an interesting career through the big leagues, right? Like I always say that you can't really call myself a quote unquote minor league grinder. I didn't grind in the minor leagues at all. I was a high draft pick, got rushed to the big leagues and kind of had the instant success. Um, went to the playoffs first year, had a good playoffs, injured second game of the year, third game of the year, and then all of a sudden thrown in the World Series and uh, have success right at the top of the mountain. You win a World Series, then you're hitting 170. You're in AAA the year after, 2020 non-tendered, and then kind of able to get back and the player that you know that you could be. And then you come to the 4 years in Philadelphia and you really feel like that you've hit your stride and you've got the identity of who I wanted to be in the big leagues, right? And there's still things to improve on, right? Like the the nature of having experience and to realizing that you can come out on the other side of things. And I think it's given myself a whole new kind of perspective on baseball, and it's way more enjoyable, right? To be able to you could be in that slump or whatever it is, and know that okay, right, you've come out on the other side, and you know what you have to do. You know what you have to do to get out of it, right? Um, and then I think it's kind of the biggest thing too is being able to look myself in the mirror and to be able to undress yourself from top to bottom and realizing these are things that I did well, these are things that I didn't do well. And just because 2025 was a great statistical season for me, it doesn't mean that this offseason I'm just going to go out and do the same thing and expect the same results. No, like I have to do the same thing, go from top to bottom, and be able to undress everything and to realize these are things that I'm going to have to keep getting better at and keep evolving because the game just keeps evolving, right? Like there's always going to be new information out there on a player and how to attack a player and how to get them out. And it's my job to make sure that I'm the most prepared person to defend that and to attack it and uh to make sure that I'm prepared in any which way that and not be surprised by anything. And that's how I just continue to try to play the game, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it on a year-to-year basis, right? Like I don't want to just be a quote unquote one hit wonder, right? Like I want to play this game for a long time, and I want to continue to still be great, and I want to continue to help the Phillies try to win a World Series and multiple World Series throughout my time here.
Next, we'll go to Tim Kelly of onpattison.com. Tim?
Hey Kyle, congrats on your extension. I want to take you back to a moment at Yankee Stadium this year when you hit your 1,000th hit was a home run, and one of the fans that caught the ball, you offered him an autograph, and he said, "Oh, I don't need that. I just want you to re-sign with the Phillies." When you're in free agency, obviously there's money implications, but do little moments like that at all factor into your decision?
Absolutely. Um, I think resonating with an organization and resonating with a fan base uh, is a huge part of you know why you do it, right? Like uh, you want people, you want young kids, you want anyone to be at a game and at the end of the day say, look up and you want them to, be wearing your jersey or look at their mom and dad and say, hey, I want to be like, like Kyle, whatever it is. Those are things that you don't take lightly. And, in those moments too, right. The whole sign and, sign back with Philadelphia, right? Like those are awesome moments. Those are things that you don't forget. I know the whole Constitution thing that went around Citizens Bank Ballpark. I have that. I got that in my possession, and um, like those are things that you truly do respect about a fan base. You hope that as a player, at the end of the day, that you're going to leave your mark on an organization and a fan base, and I'm glad that I'm going to have 5 more years to continue to do that here in Philadelphia.
All right, next we'll go to Jim Salisbury. Jim?
Hey, Kyle, congratulations. I was wondering, you talked about improving in Philadelphia. You talked about hitting your stride in Philadelphia. How much has Kevin Long had to do with, hitting that stride and that improvement you've made? And was his return part of your calculus in wanting to come back here and making, having a reunion in Philly?
So Kevin has been a very important part of my career, my turnaround, whatever you guys would like to say, right? I signed the 1-year deal in Washington, and um, I knew there was a lot of different things that I had to attack, and uh, he was literally, I think I signed with Washington, and 3 days later he was down in Florida where I was at, and he was ready to get to work. Um, with me and my other guy that I hit with in the offseason, Aaron Capista. He's another huge factor of why I've had such a great turnaround. And, being able to have people on your side and in your corner who are able to, one, break down information, be able to have uh, good thought processes, and to be able to convert that into words that you're able to understand, I think is a big part of hitting. And going into Washington, we started at an extreme and then it kind of found its way into a medium that you make your own. And it was a great start. Like I get traded into Boston, go to the playoffs there, have a great second half there, and then you sign in Philadelphia, and he's here as well. And don't get me wrong, like there's been ups and downs too, and through my time there, right? Like 23, it was an interesting year where you hit what I think I hit like 190, but you're able to still drive in 100 and score 100 times, right? Like it's an interesting season, but I can tell you firsthand that looking at the scoreboard, that's I don't like looking at 190, right? Like I just don't like that. And I found a way to be productive that season, but you have to be able to attack different things in different ways. And to be able to have Kalong there, who I know who cares so much about the players and cares so much about trying to help people out. Yeah, it's a it's definitely something you have to think about, right? There's a comfortability factor there, but it's not and this is no disrespect to him by any means. We'll always have a great relationship, no matter if I'm in Philadelphia or if I'm somewhere else or I'm out of the game and he's out of the game. We'll always still have great conversations and talk baseball, right? This is who we are. But um, you know, to be able to realize that you're going to be somewhere for 5 years, you have to think about everything, and there's a lot of different conversations that have to be had. And I would say that he definitely there is a part that where your hitting coach and that you've had success with your hitting coach. Sure, that does pull into some degree, but also too, you have to be able to you know realize that you're a big boy, put your big boy pants on. If you're not going to be there, right, that or he's not going to be there one day, you never know when someone might be done in the game, that you're going to have to do it. You have to do it yourself. And I think that I know myself really good, and I know things that I have to do on a day in and day out basis.
Great. Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to Colin Newby of 97.5 The Fanatic. Colin?
Hi, Kyle. It seems like your teammates and the organization and just the city as a whole has supported your charity effort really well. When you reach free agency, how does that kind of support and respect factor into your thought process and your final decision?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think that's another big thing that matters, right? Because that's something that matters to me and my family. And I cannot say enough great words about how the Philadelphia organization, the Phillies, and our players, and how everyone supports each other in those matters. And to be able to have that backing and the support, those are questions that you ask in free agency. It's not all just baseball. It's all, there's a lot of different things that you have to ask, and those are things that come up. And also knowing that the Middleton family, uh, the players, the front office, the coaches, everyone wants to support each other is a huge factor. And that is something that, like I said, that's another driving factor that we've done some really good work in Philadelphia, and now that we're going to be signing up here for 5 more years, we're so excited to get that opportunity to keep building on something great here.
Thank you.
All right, Gordon, did you still have a question? Gordon Whitmire of the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yes, yes. Hey, Kyle, congratulations. I know we talked about this a while back, but as far as Cincinnati goes, I've gotten a sense from some of the fans just through communicating with me as we've written about this, maybe some skepticism on how serious your hometown team might have actually been in the pursuit, given some of the the big hitters involved in going after you. What was your impression of how serious the Reds made a run at you? What was your take on it? Maybe even, how close did you come to considering them?
I think first off that I won't go into great detail, right? Because I know that there are a lot of different conversations that I've had with a lot of different people, and uh, you know, for them and for me myself, that I felt like if I met with the Reds, yes, I was impressed. I was me and Paige went down to Cincinnati, and we were able to sit down and have that conversation with them and hear them out and. Uh, I would say that, they were not this, I would say that they were not pulling chains and that they were, um, you know, wanting to, try to, you know, get me to Cincinnati, I guess, right? Like, I don't know how to put it there to get your services, whatever it is, but like I said, that there are things that you have to cover your bases in every aspect of it, and we had those conversations, and I appreciate uh, every conversation I had with every team, and I appreciate all the honesty that there was between myself and whoever's there in those conversations.
All right, we'll go back to Todd.
Hey, Kyle, just the timing of the agreement, I guess it went down on Monday night. Wondering, is that something you communicated to Casey and the Phillies? Like, hey, I don't want this to drag into Christmas and New Year's and all of that, or is that just how it happened? Like, were you prepared to go weeks and weeks and weeks into this? What's kind of how'd that go down?
Yeah, I think that the process was, for me, I think it was pretty standard, right? That, um, you know, going into this, right? Like there's everyone always has timelines and things like that on, team organizations have timelines and there's the non-tendering, there's the tender deadline, whatever it is. And then, it goes into, a big focus on free agency. And, um, you know, me personally, I know that there was an understanding, uh, between myself, my agency, and every other team that, um, you know, I was willing to, I wanted to listen to every bit of information I could get. And then, when I felt comfortable that, I wanted to make a decision. And, I think for me it went standard. I can't tell you if I felt like that, if it was quick, if it was long, if it was short, right? I felt like I got all the information I needed to make a decision, and I wanted to be respectful of everyone, right? Like that's how I operate. I wanted to be respectful of uh, you know the Phillies. I wanted to be respectful to the other teams I talked to, and I know that this is there's a long road in the off season, but also too I wanted to make sure that um, I had the time to decide, and also too it just kind of lines up. I think half the reason why we're doing this on Zoom is we got a kid coming here soon, and I'm very thankful to the Phillies for we get the agreement done, and I was able to rush up the Philly yesterday and to get all the physicals and all that done with to get back here to Ohio to make sure that I'm not going to get beat up or anything like that if I miss my child being born. So that I was we're like I said, but we're so excited to be here, and it's kind of reminiscence of 4 years ago of that I told Dave that I said this is a little reminiscence of 4 years ago to where uh we agreed to the deal, but she actually went into labor that night. Here we're getting close. It could happen any day, but um I'm happy that they were able to accommodate that, get me up there, get me back. So now I will be here, make sure whenever our little girl comes into the world that I will be here.
That's good. And then Dave, real quick, you used the word optimism on Monday in terms of Kyle. Why did you use that word? You didn't have to say optimism. You didn't have a deal done yet, but what made you optimistic?
Well, I'd rather to be optimistic than pessimistic, but I also thought in conversations with I had conversations with Schwarbs myself on Monday. He had asked to speak with me, and I talked to Casey Close numerous times. I mean, Casey had reached out to me. We'd been in contact. Reached out to me. See, Saturday night, I was in Oklahoma for a wedding, and we met first thing when we got here Sunday night, in case he was delayed, just to the weather, like a lot of people were. So we met. So I felt optimistic in our conversations, but I would use optimistic, not confident. I think those are significantly different because there were no decisions were made. But I knew that I at least optimistic that Schwarbs wanted to come back, that there was a part of him that wanted to come back for sure. He liked it here. We wanted him back. So hopefully with the way the organization experience, fan experience, ownership, and I don't think sometimes we give enough credit to John Middleton and how important all of this is. He's setting the tempo for our organization and how involved it is. So it led me to be optimistic because we wanted to get things done, and I was hopeful that Schwarbs had enjoyed his experience a lot here, and that would ultimately, if we were there financially, be able to be in a position that would make him a Philly once again.
All right, we have time for a few more. We'll go back to Matt.
Kyle, I'm wondering, have you talked to JT at all since you signed? And not that he doesn't know how you feel about him, but maybe there's a message there about you coming back and maybe trying to encourage him, or is that you're not part of the recruiting? It's too soon since you've re-signed.
I mean, we've all been in constant communication throughout the offseason, not just JT, a lot of different guys on the team. We all have great relationships with each other. I think that's been a great thing that we've had in Philadelphia here is that we've all, really come together and felt like that, we are all going to have some really good friendships throughout the end of our days here. And, I sent him a text, a couple guys there yesterday when I was up in Philadelphia, and uh, I would not be lying that if I didn't send one to JT saying that trying to see where he's at and try to coax him. But obviously, at the end of the day, I just went through the process. I know the process he's going to be going through, and you want to be respectful to that as well, right? You want him to feel like that he's making the best decision for himself, his family. And selfishly, I think that we would all love to have JT back because we know what he brings to the table and how important he is to not just our clubhouse and on the team, but what he means to Philadelphia and how he's carried himself and how he prepares and how he makes sure that he's going to be available to catch as many games as he can. And knowing that, the catching position is such a demanding position, and for how he's done it at such a high level for years that, he should be highly sought after. And I'm hoping that at the end of the day, he's back in Philadelphia, but I know that there could be a lot of different circumstances that come in.
All right, we'll go back to Scott.
Well, you talk about rejoining this core that you've been a part of for the last 4 years. I wonder how important it was to you that, there's Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter and some young players on the way who maybe could help you guys in this existing core, maybe stretch the quote unquote window, so to speak, that it wasn't just going to be a bunch of guys getting back together and, as you said, playing together for the rest of your time, but that there were going to be young players who were going to be able to come in and help as well.
Yeah, I think looking at our organizational depth here, that we have some really exciting talent that's going to be coming up, and you're looking forward to whenever they can step foot into the big league locker room, and you want to make them feel like they're going to be welcomed right away and feeling like that there's going to be a seamless transition for them as soon as they step into our clubhouse, and they're going to be going out onto the field, and we need them performing to their best abilities, and we don't need them worrying about you know, how does Kyle Schwarber, how does Trey Turner, how does Bryce Harper, how does, you know, whoever think about what I'm doing right now, right? No, you know, we're all here for each other. We're all in this together. We all have a common goal at the end of the day, and everyone's pulling on the same rope here. Then that's for us to go out and win our division, get to the playoffs, and win a World Series. And we need everyone pulling just the same, right? We don't need anyone feeling like they need to step out and be Superman. And there's no, you know, if someone's struggling, there's no you're bringing us back, right? Like this is a whole collective effort, and I feel like we've done a really good job of that since my time here of making our clubhouse a place that is welcoming and knowing that we're here for business as well. We like to have fun, but also too, when we're walking out of that clubhouse for a game, we're expecting to win that game.
All right, we have time for one, maybe two more. We'll go to Anthony Sanfilippo of onpattison.com. Anthony?
Hey, Kyle. Rob talked to us yesterday about how important the intangibles you bring to the baseball team are outside of on-field production. And he was saying your leadership qualities are immeasurable, how you're constantly supportive of teammates and the like. What is it about that role or responsibility that you are drawn to, and why do you think that you're successful at it?
Great question. You know, I think just experience is a big factor in all of that, right? That I feel like that I can, you know, like I said, I don't think that you could call me the minor league grinder, right? Like I wasn't a guy who fought their way through the minor leagues years and years and years to get to the big leagues, right? I was in the big leagues, rushed to the big leagues, and had success right away, and also too had plenty of failure along the way as well. And I think being able to personally experience that, and also you know, knowing what people, you know, having some of those thoughts, right? Questioning yourself, questioning, do I belong in the big leagues? Questioning, um, you know, can I stay here? Can I help this team win? Or, you know, also feeling like, you know, I've had a lot of success and I know how to handle that. And I know, you know, the roller coaster effect, right? So experiencing that and just being where I'm at in my career now, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I know how I want to attack the game on a daily basis, and I know just how I feel, how I can operate on a day-to-day basis, not worrying about failure, not worrying about success. You know, I just have a very objective mindset, right? And um, knowing I've been in those in anyone's shoes, I can almost relate to pretty much anyone in a locker room just for those reasons where I've had failure, I've had success, whatever it is that I know what. And if say if there's a guy who's struggling, whatever it is, you know, I've been there, done it, right? Like I probably know what you're thinking. You know, you might have got benched the next day or whatever it is, you know, and feeling like the next time you get in there, you want to try harder, the get 10 hits besides just taking your at bats, whatever it is, right? Like, um, so just trying to realize, you know, there are things that can be detrimental to yourself. And that's what it all comes back to down is to winning, right? Like I want the best version out of everyone. I want them to get the best version out of me, right? And the more time that you can kind of bring that you know, that self-doubt, whatever it is, out of the head, now you're going to get a really good version of that player. So, um, you know, it's just, I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, I've experienced it. Um, you know, I don't like people ever being in, you know, I wish that no one could ever be in those positions because, you know, you want people to have success all the time, right? But this is the game of quote unquote failure, and it's just what it is. And you got to find a way to get through it, and you got to find a way to have that positive outlook, right? And find a way to feel like whenever you step in that box, and you know when you step in the box that there's a chance, right? There's a chance of that offer ending. There's a chance of whatever it is. Or if it's not, you work the walk, you go first to third, you make the play out on defense, right? There's different ways on impacting the game. And it's not all just because of offense. There's different ways to impact games. If you mess up on defense, you're looking forward to the next one. Or you got that opportunity to drive in that big run after you just had the error, whatever it is, right? Like um, there's just so many ways this game can put you in a humbling place, and to be able to realize that you can enjoy it still is such a big thing.
All right, everyone. I know there's a few hands up, but we're just unfortunately out of time. We have to keep Kyle on schedule. So thank you all for joining us. Kyle, thanks for making some time for us today. Congratulations again. And
Thank
Dave, thank
you.
you as well for joining us.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like